The twin suns of Vega 9 sank low behind the red dunes as Cole Ward leaned against a wooden post at the spaceport dock. The evening wind carried dust and the smell of metal. His hat was tilted low, shadowing tired eyes that had seen too many empty days. He checked the small photo in his pocket, the image of a smiling human woman from Earth. Your mail-order bride. Margaret. Arrival confirmed. Vega 9 shuttle. 1800 local time. That message had kept him awake for weeks. He wasn't looking for love, not really. Just company. Someone to share the silence of his ranch. But the shuttle that landed wasn't the one listed. The engines howled like thunder as a sleek black craft cut through the clouds, scarred with bullet marks and alien symbols. The air shimmered hot as it touched down, bending the light around it. Cole's hand went to the revolver on his belt, out of habit more than courage. The ship's ramp hissed open. Smoke poured out first. Then came a shadow. Tall, slim, moving with the stillness of a predator. When the smoke cleared, he saw her. She wasn't human. Silver skin reflected the dying sunlight. Long white hair brushed her shoulders, and her eyes, bright violet, scanned the dock like she was calculating targets. She wore a dark duster coat with a plasma revolver hanging low on her hip. For a long moment, they just stared at each other. Cole broke the silence. "You're not Margaret," he said quietly. The woman tilted her head. "And you're not dead. That's good." Before he could reply, the sky above them screamed again. 3 bounty hunter ships dropped through the clouds, firing blue tracer rounds. Sirens wailed across the dock. The alien woman spun her revolver faster than Cole's eyes could follow. Bolts of plasma tore through the air. One ship exploded before it even landed. Cole ducked behind a crate, heart pounding. When he looked up again, the woman was standing in front of him. Calm, unflinching, smoke rising from her gun. "You're in my landing zone," she said, her voice low and even. "Do you want to live?" Cole nodded before thinking. "Then pretend you were expecting me." She holstered her gun and stepped close. Her hand touched his arm, cold as ice, steady as stone. "Smile, Rancher. They're watching." The second ship touched down, throwing up dust. 4 armored hunters stepped out, weapons raised. Their leader shouted, "By order of the Galactic Marshal Corps, surrender the Xerian outlaw known as Karen Vera." Karen's grip tightened. "Remember," she whispered, "you're my husband now." Cole blinked, lost for words. But when the hunters turned their guns toward her, something inside him moved. That old instinct to protect what stood beside him, even if it made no sense. He raised his rifle. "My wife's done nothing wrong," he said, voice steady. A tense silence filled the dock. Then chaos, blaster fire ripped through the air. Cole fired back, hitting one of the hunters square in the chest. Karen moved like lightning, a blur of metal and light, cutting down the rest with precise, brutal grace. When it was over, the dock was silent again, bodies smoking in the sand. Karen staggered, clutching her side. Blood, silver and glowing, ran between her fingers. She looked at him, half smiling. "You're not bad for a rancher." Then she collapsed. Cole caught her before she hit the ground. Her eyes fluttered open for a second and she whispered, "They'll come again. Play along if you want to live." Then she passed out. Cole stood in the fading light, holding the unconscious alien in his arms as the sound of more engines echoed across the desert. He looked toward the horizon, toward the oncoming storm, and muttered, "Well, Margaret, guess plans just changed." The desert night of Vega 9 was colder than most planets Cole had known. A dry wind howled through the open ranch house as he dragged the unconscious alien woman inside. The stars above looked sharp and endless, and somewhere beyond them, danger was already coming. He laid her on his old sofa, leather cracked and dusty, then fetched a medical kit. The wound on her side shimmered faintly with blue light. It wasn't like human blood. It pulsed, alive. When he tried to clean it, she jolted awake. In a flash, a revolver was in her hand and pressed under his chin. Cole froze. Her eyes glowed faint violet in the dark. "Where am I?" she demanded. "My ranch," he said calmly. "You were bleeding out. I patched what I could." For a second, she didn't move. Then her weapon lowered an inch. "You could have turned me in." "Didn't seem polite," Cole said dryly. "You crashed on my dock. Guess that makes you my guest." She studied him for a long moment, then sighed. A strange sound, half human, half mechanical. "The name's Karen Vera," she said finally. "Zerian rebel, or outlaw, depending on who you ask." Cole nodded slowly. "And you've got people looking for you." Her lips curved slightly. "You noticed." Outside, engines rumbled again, faint, distant, but growing louder. Karen's head snapped toward the window. Her hand went to a gun. "Bounty ships," she said. "They'll scan this property. They'll expect a human wife here, not a rebel soldier." Cole frowned. "That's because I ordered one." Karen blinked. "You what?" He rubbed the back of his neck. "Mail order bride from Earth was supposed to arrive today. Guess she didn't make it." For the first time, Karen actually laughed. Soft, disbelieving. "And you got me instead. Lucky man." "Yeah," Cole said, checking his shotgun. "Lucky." Moments later, bright blue lights flashed outside the window. 4 marshals in armor approached, scanning the building. Karen looked at him, eyes steady. "You want to live? Then play the part. I'm your wife now. Smile, talk slow, and don't touch the wrong side of my coat." Cole swallowed hard. "You sure this'll work?" "No," she said. "But lying's better than dying." She pulled her coat tight, hiding her weapon, and leaned lightly against him as the door burst open. The lead marshal stepped in, tall, clean uniform, steel eyes. "Evening. Sorry to intrude, sir. We're tracking a dangerous fugitive, Zerian origin. Landed near your property." Cole forced a friendly grin. "Only person who landed here's my wife. Got the paperwork if you want to see it." The marshal's gaze slid toward Karen. "Your wife?" Karen smiled sweetly, resting her hand on Cole's arm. "That's right. Arrived today. Poor man waited months." The marshal's scanners hummed, red lights sweeping over her body. For a second, the reading flickered. Karen's grip tightened. She was ready to shoot. But then the scanner beeped green. "Human match confirmed. Congratulations," the marshal said, lowering his weapon. "You two enjoy your evening." As they turned to leave, one of the officers lingered behind, pretending to check his tablet. But Cole noticed the tiny drone he slipped under the porch beam before walking off. When the last engine faded into the distance, Karen let out a shaky breath. That was close. Cole glanced at the blinking red light outside the window. Not close enough, they stepped out together. The drone hung under the roof, humming quietly. Karen pulled out her revolver, aimed and shot it. Sparks rained down like fireflies. But the damage was done. Someone, somewhere, had seen their faces. Inside, the old communication unit crackled to life. A holographic image flickered in the air, Karen's face rotating slowly. A robotic voice announced, "Bounty, Karen Vera, 10 million credits, dead or alive." Cole turned to her. "You said you wanted to lie low." Karen holstered her gun. "I did. The universe doesn't like quiet people." She walked past him toward the open door, twin moons lighting her silver skin. "If you stay with me, rancher, you'll never have peace again." Cole looked out across the dark desert, engines still echoing faintly over the dunes. "Peace was overrated anyway," he muttered. The night stretched long and cold across the Vega 9 desert. Inside the ranch house, flickering lantern light cast golden shadows across rough wooden walls. The alien outlaw Karen Vera sat at the corner table, her revolver half dismantled, cleaning it with calm precision. Cole Ward watched her from the stove, pouring 2 cups of recycled coffee. He still couldn't decide if she was the worst thing that ever happened to him, or the most fascinating. He placed a cup in front of her. "Figured even outlaws need caffeine," he said. Karen looked up, a faint smirk tugging her lips. "Caffeine? The human fuel for bad decisions." She sipped it anyway, grimaced and said, "Too sweet." "Like your lies," Cole chuckled. "You're welcome." Outside, the wind howled again, but it wasn't just wind. Faint hums of distant engines carried through the air. Someone was still searching. Karen's eyes darted to the window. "We have until dawn before they triangulate the signal." Cole frowned. "You mean the bounty signal?" She nodded. "They'll trace it to the last data spike. This house." He sighed, rubbing his temples. "You bring trouble everywhere you go, don't you?" Her gaze softened just for a second. "Trouble finds me. I just shoot back." They worked together in silence for a while. She adjusted the energy cores of her revolver. He checked the fence defenses and motion sensors outside. For every problem, she seemed to have a faster way to solve it. Clever, tactical, confident. When he returned, Karen was standing by the old generator, humming softly. It flickered to life under her touch. "You're not bad at fixing things," Cole said. "I've been running my whole life," she replied. "You learn to fix what breaks, or die in the dark." Cole leaned against the doorway. "You keep saying you're a rebel. Against who, exactly?" Karen's violet eyes reflected the light of the generator. "The Syndicate," she said slowly. "They take our worlds, strip our people, sell them to human corporations as labor or companions. I fought to stop it. That's why they want me dead." Her words hung heavy in the quiet. Cole looked down at his rough hands. "And here I was, complaining about sandstorms." She glanced at him. "You humans complain about everything, but you also stand up when it matters." "I like that," he smiled slightly. "That a compliment?" "Don't get used to it." They both laughed softly, the first real laughter since she crashed into his life. But then a faint beep echoed from the corner of the room. Karen's hand snapped to her holster. "What was that?" Cole froze. The small communication console on the wall flickered to life again. But this time there was no bounty poster, only static. And then, a voice. "Cole Ward," it said, low and metallic. "You are harboring a known terrorist. You have 1 hour to surrender her, or we come for both of you." Cole felt his stomach tighten. They know my name now. Karen stood up, her long coat flowing behind her like shadow. "You still have a choice. Hand me over, take your ranch back, live your quiet life." He met her eyes, steady, human, unflinching. "And let them hunt you down like a dog?" "No." Karen stared at him for a long moment. The silence between them was heavier than the wind outside. "Finally," she said softly, "then you need to understand something. Rancher." She walked toward him, close enough that he could see the faint scars glowing on her neck. "In Xerian culture, when someone protects you, their life becomes tied to yours. Our word for it is Kyrith. It means shared fate." Cole blinked. "Shared fate." She nodded. "If I die, your name burns with mine. If I live, your story becomes legend." He let out a slow breath. "Sounds like a bad deal." Karen smiled faintly. "Then maybe you're a bad man." Before he could answer, something outside exploded. A flash of blue fire lit up the night sky. The first wave of hunters had found them. Karen spun her revolver, eyes sharp and alive again. "They're here." Cole cocked his shotgun. "Then let's show them what shared fate means." They stepped out into the cold desert wind together, side by side, ready for war. The desert was no longer quiet. Engines thundered across the dunes, lights flashing like small suns in the dark. From the ridge above Cole Ward's ranch, shadows of hoverbikes swept down in a deadly swarm. The night glowed blue with plasma fire. Cole stood on the porch, shotgun in hand, wind tugging at his coat. Beside him, Karen Vera tightened the strap of her holster and whispered, 30 of them, maybe more. 30, Cole muttered. "Guess they're afraid of one woman," Karen smirked. "They should be." She stepped forward, her silver skin catching the light of the moons. With one sharp motion, she drew both plasma revolvers, twin bolts of blue cutting through the darkness. 2 riders fell before they even reached the fence. Cole dashed toward the barn. Inside, he pulled open a crate marked Old Tools. But it wasn't just tools. Out came handmade turrets, power cells, and motion mines he'd built during lonely years on the ranch, his only hobby besides regret. "Didn't think a rancher needed weapons," Karen shouted over the noise. Cole grinned. "I ranch cattle in the middle of space, lady. I always need weapons." They worked fast. She wired the turrets to his power grid while he scattered mines across the perimeter. In 10 minutes, the quiet ranch had turned into a fortress. The first wave came screaming down the hill. Plasma blasts tore through the fences. Cole fired both barrels, hitting a rider square in the chest. Karen spun beside him, shooting with the rhythm of a song, precise, graceful, unstoppable. Explosions rolled across the sand. One mine detonated under a hoverbike, throwing its rider high into the air. Another crashed through the barn roof, setting the hay ablaze. Cole coughed through the smoke. That's my roof. Karen reloaded calmly. Then you should aim better. A second later, she shot the pilot who'd started the fire, but they were losing ground. For every hunter they dropped, 2 more arrived. Cole ducked behind a wall as a plasma bolt scorched past his head. We can't hold them forever. Karen crouched beside him, eyes glowing. We don't have to. We just need to outlast them until sunrise. Why sunrise? She smiled faintly. Because Xerian ships can't track through twin sun glare. My people might pick up my beacon by then. Cole stared at her. Your people? You called yourself an outlaw? I am, she said quietly, loading another clip. Outlaw to them, hero to others. The fighting grew fiercer. The generator shook, sparks flying. A turret exploded in a burst of molten metal. Cole and Karen fell back to the main house, smoke and dust swirling around them. Karen stumbled, blood glowing through a crack in her armor. Cole caught her arm. You okay? I've had worse, she said, then added with a grin, but not much worse. They took cover behind a broken beam. Outside, the bounty hunters regrouped, forming a line of blue fire along the ridge. Cole's ammo belt was nearly empty. This is it, he said. If we're going down, I'll make it count. Karen looked at him, really looked, past the dirt, the sweat, the fear. You could have left me to die, rancher. Yeah, he said. But then who'd insult my shooting? She laughed, short, bright, defiant, and kissed his cheek so fast he almost thought he imagined it. Then let's make them earn their bounty. Together they stepped out into the open side by side, surrounded by fire and chaos. Plasma bolts lit the night like lightning. The desert echoed with their defiance, 2 figures standing against an army. Then, through the smoke, a deep roar cut across the sky. A massive shadow descended, blotting out the stars, a warship dark and silent, with the emblem of the Galactic Marshal Corps blazing across its hull. Karen froze. That's not bounty hunters. Cole lowered his gun, eyes wide. Then who the hell is it? From the ship's loudspeakers boomed a cold, human voice. Karen Vera, Cole Ward. By order of the Galactic Marshal, you are both under arrest. The engine screamed overhead as bright searchlights pinned them in place. Cole muttered under his breath. Guess sunrise came early. The warship hovered above the smoking ranch, its engines rumbling like thunder trapped in metal. Dust swirled across the ground, painting the night in shades of red and blue light. Cole Ward and Karen Vera stood shoulder to shoulder, weapons drawn but useless against the shadow of that giant ship. A spotlight locked on them. Then came the voice, deep, mechanical, and cold. Cole Ward, Karen Vera, lay down your arms. Karen's jaw tightened. Marshal Reese, she whispered. Didn't think they'd send him. Cole squinted up at the descending figure. A tall man in an armored coat landed hard on the sand, boots cracking like thunder. Half his face was steel, one red cybernetic eye glowing. He didn't look angry. He looked bored. Karen Vera, Reese said, his voice metallic but calm. You've been busy. 52 confirmed kills, 6 colonies destabilized. The Syndicate wants your head, but the Corps wants your silence. So let's make a trade. Karen raised her gun. I don't trade with machines, Reese smiled. Then you'll die as one. Cole stepped forward slightly, shotgun lowered but ready. You don't need to drag her into this. She just wants to live. Reese turned his red eye toward him. You must be the rancher, the fool who thinks kindness can fix war. He took another step closer. You have no idea what she's carrying, do you? Karen shot him a glare. Don't you dare, Reese interrupted. She's got the biotech seed, the prototype from the Xerian vaults, the thing that could change every species in the galaxy. He turned to Cole. You help me retrieve it, and you get your ranch, your peace, and your freedom. She disappears quietly. No one ever knows. The air grew still. Karen's voice was quiet but sharp. Don't listen to him. Cole's heart pounded. He looked between them, the Marshal's half-metal face and Karen's tired human eyes. She looked strong, but there was fear there too. What's this seed he's talking about? Cole asked. Karen hesitated. Something my people built to end slavery. A living code that breaks genetic chains, makes humans and aliens equal under the same DNA structure. It could stop the Syndicate's control forever, or, she glanced at Reese, become their greatest weapon. Reese's metal fingers flexed. It belongs to the Corps now. Hand her over, Rancher, or we take it from her corpse. Cole stared at the glowing insignia on the marshal's chest. You burn people like her for profit. You call that peace? Reese smirked. I call it order. For a long moment, no one moved. The only sound was the wind pushing ash across the sand. Then Cole spoke. I've lived my life raising things that don't belong in cages. Cattle, dogs, now apparently rebels. He cocked his shotgun. So, Marshal, here's my deal. Get off my land. Karen's lips curved into a small, proud smile. Took you long enough. Reese's smile faded. So be it. He raised his gauntlet and the air shimmered with dozens of armed drones rising from the dunes. Plasma turrets unfolded, locking onto the ranch. Karen grabbed Cole's arm. We can't fight him here. Then where? She pointed toward the dark ridge in the distance. The ruins, old Zerian outpost. There's something there that can shield us. Cole nodded. Together they dove for cover as plasma fire lit up the sky. Explosions tore through the ground. The old barn collapsed in flames behind them. They mounted hoverbikes taken from fallen hunters and sped into the night. Sparks trailed behind them as the marshal's drones gave chase. The dunes blurred past under twin moons. Cole gritted his teeth. You sure about this? Karen shouted over the wind. No! Behind them, explosions chased their trail like falling stars. Ahead, the ruins of an ancient alien structure rose from the desert. Black stone towers cracked by time. As they reached the gates, Karen's voice dropped low. If we die here, at least we die free. Cole glanced at her, eyes fierce in the glow. Not dying's better. They jumped off the bikes, sprinting into the ruins as the marshal's forces closed in. High above, the warship's searchlights swept over the desert, hunting. Reese's cold voice echoed through their comms. Run all you want. The galaxy has no place for outlaws. Karen whispered. Then we'll make one. The ruins rose from the desert like broken teeth. Black stone towers, half buried under centuries of sand. Strange runes glowed faintly across the walls, pulsing in rhythm with the stars above. Cole Ward slowed his pace, shotgun raised, breathing hard. Every echo of his footsteps seemed to whisper secrets. Beside him, Karen Vera walked with quiet purpose, her revolver drawn, her silver skin reflecting the pale light of Vega 9's twin moons. Place gives me the creeps, Cole muttered. Karen glanced at him. These ruins belong to the first Zerians, the ones who built everything, then vanished. And we're running into them, he said. Smart, she didn't answer. Instead, she stopped at a massive stone door half covered in sand. Ancient circuits hummed faintly under her touch. The door slid open with a deep mechanical sigh, revealing a vast underground chamber. Walls lined with glowing pods, cables, and alien writing. At the center stood something like an altar, a sphere floating above it, radiating soft blue light. Cole stared. That's it, isn't it? The biotech seed, Karen nodded slowly. The heart. She walked toward it, removing one of her gloves. The moment her fingers brushed the sphere, it flared bright. The chamber came alive with energy. Symbols scrolled across the walls. A deep, calm voice spoke in alien language, ancient Zerian code. Cole flinched. What's it saying? Karen closed her eyes. It's asking for a choice. A choice? Yes. Her voice trembled slightly. To merge or to destroy? Cole frowned. Merge what? Life, she whispered. The heart was made to end all divisions. Human, alien, machine. One code, one body, one mind. She turned toward him. It can unite our species forever. Or erase both. Cole took a slow step back. You mean that thing can rewrite who we are? She nodded. The Syndicate wants to use it to control. I wanted to use it to free, but the heart doesn't care. It just obeys whoever activates it. Cole stared at the glowing sphere. So you ran, stole it, and ended up here. Karen's eyes softened. I didn't steal it for myself. I stole it for everyone like me, those who will never be treated as equal. For the first time, her voice cracked. You humans call us monsters. They call you savages. The heart could end all that. Cole stepped closer. Or it could end everything. She looked at him silent. For a long time, only the humming of the machine filled the air. Then outside, a deep explosion shook the ground. Blast rained from the ceiling. Karen spun around. He's found us. The chamber lights flickered as the marshal's warship appeared above the ruins, its spotlight cutting through cracks in the ceiling. Karen Vera. Reese's metallic voice boomed. The heart belongs to the core. Surrender now. Karen lifted her weapon, eyes glowing bright violet. Not this time. She touched the sphere again, this time with purpose. Energy surged through her body, weaving patterns of light under her skin. Her wounds began to close. The air itself vibrated. Cole shouted, "Karen, stop! You don't know what that thing will do." She turned to him, voice echoing, layered with a metallic resonance. "It's not choosing me, Cole. It's choosing us." The heart pulsed harder and a wave of light burst outward, sweeping across the desert. Machines froze. The marshal's drones fell from the sky like stones. Cole shielded his eyes. "What's happening?" Karen stumbled, glowing brighter with every heartbeat. "It's merging human code with Xyrian DNA, rewriting the limits." He caught her before she fell. Her pulse felt strange, faster, deeper, stronger. "You'll burn yourself out," he shouted. She smiled faintly. "Worth it. If it saves someone like me." Above them, the warship's engines roared. Reese's voice cracked through the dust and static. "Enough games!" Bolts of plasma tore through the roof, lighting the chamber in fire. Cole dragged Karen behind cover. The heart hovered above them, now burning like a second sun. Karen's eyes met his. "This ends tomorrow." "One last fight," Cole nodded grimly. "Then we fight at dawn." They turned toward the rising smoke, watching the warship descend, the final storm coming for both of them. The first light of Vega 9's twin suns crept over the horizon, painting the ruins in gold and blood red. Smoke still rose from the shattered stone as Cole Ward and Karen Vera stood side by side, facing the vast desert below. The marshal's warship loomed above them, engines humming, wings wide like a metal beast. Dozens of drones filled the air, forming a steel halo around the rising sun. Cole checked his shotgun. One last reload, half a belt of shells. "We're outnumbered, outgunned, and out of luck." Karen smiled faintly, violet eyes glowing brighter than the dawn. "Then we'll just have to be impossible." She holstered one revolver and placed her hand over his chest, just for a heartbeat. "When the light starts, don't run. Just believe." Cole's throat tightened. "I already do." Then the desert exploded. The marshal's troops descended in waves, armored, precise, unstoppable. Plasma fire tore through the ruins. Cole ducked behind a pillar, returning shots that hit harder than they should have. His weapon glowing faintly blue, alive with alien power. He glanced down. The bullets shimmered with the same light that flowed through Karen's veins. The heart had changed him too. "Karen," he shouted. "You did something to me." She leapt from a ledge, twin revolvers blazing. "I gave you a chance to fight like one of us." The sky turned into chaos. Drones spun out of control as Karen moved faster than the eye could follow, silver hair whipping, plasma rounds slicing through metal. Cole followed behind her, human instinct mixed with alien precision. Every shot he took landed true. For the first time in his life, he didn't feel ordinary. He felt infinite. Then through the smoke, the marshal descended. His armor gleamed black against the sunrise, half human, half machine. His red eye glowed like burning coal. He raised a cannon arm and fired. The blast hit the ground between them, throwing Cole back. His ears rang, his ribs ached, but when he looked up, Karen was still standing. Her revolvers were empty. "Vera," the marshal barked. "You can't win. You'll burn the code and yourself with it." Karen's voice was calm. "Then I'll burn for the right reason." She stepped forward. The heart, still hovering above the ruins, pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. Lines of light crawled across her skin, fusing her with its power. The marshal fired again. Cole jumped in front of her. The blast struck his side, knocking him down. The world went white. Karen screamed his name. She dropped beside him, hands trembling. "You fool. Why would you do that?" He coughed, smiling weakly. "Shared fate, remember?" Tears shimmered in her eyes, bright and silver like her blood. "You stubborn human!" The marshal aimed again, charging his weapon. "Touch that heart, and you both die." Karen stood slowly, cradling Cole's head for a moment, then rose to her full height. "You're wrong," she said softly. We live. She spread her arms wide and stepped into the light. The heart responded. Blinding brilliance filled the ruins. The sound was like thunder and singing at once. The explosion wasn't destruction. It was transformation. The marshal's armor melted away into dust. His red eye flickered out. The warship above cracked apart silently, its drones freezing mid-air before vanishing into static. When the light faded, the desert was quiet again. The war was over. Cole opened his eyes slowly. The pain was gone. His wounds healed. The air shimmered with warmth and peace. He turned. Karen stood at the edge of the cliff, her silver skin now glowing faint gold. Human warmth mixed with alien grace. "You're still here," he said softly. She smiled. "So are you." The heart. It changed us both. No more syndicate. No more chains, just balance. He stepped beside her, watching the twin suns rise higher. "What happens now?" Karen's hand brushed his. "We build something new." Cole chuckled quietly. "You mean a ranch?" She tilted her head, amused. "A world." They stood there together, watching the light spill across the horizon, two souls rewritten by destiny. Somewhere, across the galaxy, whispers would rise, stories of the rancher and the gunslinger, the outlaw and the human who defied two empires and changed what it meant to be alive. And when future travelers passed Vega 9, they would still see smoke curling over the dunes, not from war, but from a small ranch rebuilt in peace. Final line, voiceover ending quote. "He ordered a wife and found a war. But in that war, he found something far greater, a reason to believe that even across the stars, humanity still mattered."